What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, over the weekend, I put out a video talking about, what are these bots doing? Why are we seeing so many bots, so many battles being played at the lower levels? And, I went through and I showed a lot of the bot accounts that I had faced, like 4 or 5 in a row, and a lot of the ones that are on the leaderboard that essentially did not have any cards except like a small smattering of the older war cards, the non-soulbound ones that obviously just went out of print in January. And, we weren't really sure what was going on, but they dominated the leaderboards and it was kind of frustrating. So, when I'm looking at things now, though, we are seeing, this is the battles over the past 30 days. You're seeing that the battles have now come back down. The amount of daily active players has come back down. And it seems as though those bots have been turned off. But I believe the effects are still felt. And if I can make a guess, I'm curious as to what they're, I'm going to make a guess into like why I think they're trying to do what they're doing and how that could potentially be a major, I don't know if you want to call it major, but definitely some kind of exploit. So if you look at here, obviously it seems like some real players have made it up into the top, but for the most part, this is still very much dominated by a lot of the win trading that was happening for all these bots that had played like 4,000 battles right now. I'm not seeing as many as high as they were, and I don't know if they're going to come back on before the end of the season, but if this is the case, and this is all being run by a single person, right? So here's your 3,000, 2,000. What I was trying to calculate is, well, okay, what's the deal here? If you go in, the strategy would potentially be to run all these bots, all these counts, and you don't have to do it for the entire season. You could just do it for a couple of days as they did, and then completely take over all of the leaderboard spots. And when I look at all the leaderboard spots just for Modern, for example, I added up all the DEC here for the top 20 spots, and it's 122,000 DEC, which at PEG is about $122, right? Right now, we're at about 80% of PEG, so that's about $100, which isn't insignificant by any means. And if you already have the network, you only need to run it for a couple of days out of the season. I mean, that's $100 per season. That's $200 per month. And again, if the infrastructure is already there, then you're kind of just dominating the entire thing. Now, if you also dominate the wild, which we see some of that type of behavior, but not as much. No, actually, we don't see it here. So it's really just in Modern that we saw that. But if you were to essentially double it up in wild and have them play maybe Modern first and then wild, again, you're looking at like $200 to $400 a month, which isn't an insignificant amount of capital. Or insignificant amount of revenue that you would be paid, or rewards that you'd be paid, not to count the amount of SPS that you might be getting. These bot accounts aren't really earning much, obviously, but you never know how like stuff can add up over 4,000 battles in a season, right? Or 4,000 battles over a couple of days. So I just want to share with you, obviously that's where the data is kind of pointing to now. Things have quieted down over the last couple of days for end of season. And part of the strategy, I would think, is that towards the end of season, you look at something like this, like nobody's going to catch 2969 in terms of like a rating if these guys aren't playing, right? So if these top accounts aren't really playing, or something here which has like 3,600 accounts, like if they're not losing and they're not giving you the opportunity to win more than like 3 rating per game, right? Because once you start getting to the higher levels, it becomes almost like disincentivized to play, because it's you every time you win 3, you go up 3 rating. Every time you lose 30 rating. So it's just people like to stay put. So again, I don't know if that's what the overall strategy is. If I was in their shoes, that's what I would be doing. And again, it's not that I want this exploit to happen, or I'm like trying to give ideas for how the exploit would happen. I'm trying to call it out for what it is, in my opinion. And my hope is that, the team, obviously, they've said that they are trying to redesign leaderboards, or they want to look at ranked overall. So if this is happening, we start to see it happen for multiple seasons, then that might be the catalyst needed to just take a look and, figure out, well, what kind of changes do we want to make sure, do we want to make sure that, these types of exploits aren't happening anymore? Because on the whole, I can't say that it's like ruined my experience overall in bronze. And this is me playing under like the Nifty account, because it's just like you go and you play and it doesn't really matter who you play. There's no like crazy powered up cards, and most of the cards I'm playing against are like starter deck anyway. What is a little frustrating is that these cards are not afraid to use all of the untamed cards, for example, right? So sometimes those untamed cards can be very clutch to the meta. And if these cards are not worried, if these other accounts, right, bot accounts are not worried about getting any R shares, earning anything, unlocking any chests, they're just worried about rating. Well, they can go in and then they have essentially double the arsenal, right, for what's available to them. And a lot of these untamed cards can be very powerful, even at the lower levels in bronze. So those are just some observations, some thoughts that I'm giving on why this could be the case. But I'm curious to know if you guys have seen anything differently or have come to any other conclusions. Obviously, this is only one season worth of data. I would be curious to see what happens next season if we see another kind of flood of battles that come in, similar to what this chart shows here. But again, on the whole, I would say that this is not something I think is going to be active all the time. And we're seeing that for the most part when, the bots achieved some high level and now they've come down a little bit and we're back to where we were at about 100,000 or 1 million battles a day and, under 100,000 daily active users. I think we'd even dropped or dipped as low as like 72,000 users on this day. And, within the last couple of days, it's been kind of around the same, right? In the 80K range. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Again, just want to do a little follow up to what I released over the weekend and provide a little more context now that we've seen a significant drop off in the number of battles as well as in the number of daily active users. So, I'm curious to see how this stuff is going to play out over time, but we're really just following this and analyzing it in real time. So would love to get your feedback on it. That is all I have for you in this video. I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.